Yeah, she's done nothing wrong. I mean, she's had the one run and she finished off the race very, very nicely. She was a filly that we thought maybe would want a little bit further, and she probably will get further in time. But having said that, she's bumping MATHEW, and that looks like a racing machine and a racing certainty. So the race is on for second.
But obviously exotics are worth taking, and you feel yourself very clearly capable of running into the quartets, trifectas?
Yes, I'll be disappointed if she's not in the first three. As I said, it might be on the touch on the sharp side, but running on very strongly. Yes, listen, she's. I think her last two runs haven't been her form. It is a small field, and she obviously stays nicely. So, yeah, I'm sure we'll be in the first 3 or 4, and maybe the top 2 fluff their lines will be there to pick up the pieces. Well, it's hard to believe that Benadir is better than MATHEW, or a good few lengths better than MATHEW. They both look like superstars and set for stardom, but I just feel the sex allowance is worth its weight in gold, assuming they are equal. And often the fillies are a little more precocious than the colts. It's hard to say that when you see how precocious Benadir is. He won first time by 8.5 and followed up with a 3.5 length win. He looks hard to beat. I just felt, it's more realistic, and it's a Group 1 for R1 million. Take our chances. Having said that, Lock Him Up's doing very well. He's a horse that we gave an each way chance on debut, and he won by 5. Obviously reserves his best for race day. So that's exciting. I'm very happy with my coupling. Yeah, listen, her run to Orator's Daughter was pretty good. She was quite a long way back. She ran on well. I thought the Athena run was not bad. I think she definitely wants the trip, and will be running on. But having said that, Jeff holds all the aces here, and he looks hard to beat. He's backed up nicely with Touch of Sky, who appreciated the extra in the Oaks trial. So yeah, I think Jeff would have hard to beat here. We may not be where we really want to be for this time of the year. Having said that, Pomodoro is really well weighted here, and he's had a very nice preparation. He's come along slowly, and I think he's ready for this, and I do believe that he'll be involved in the finish. The other two are quite badly off at the weights. 5 kilos Baraka and 4.5 kilos half the deficit. So it's hard to imagine them winning, but their current well-being is pretty good. Unfortunately, half the deficit's just got a little abscess that we're just trying to drain. It's come up on us, and hopefully we can sort that out over the next 24 hours. But yeah, it does look like a competitive race. There's 5 or 6 of the top-rated horses that should fight it out, even though it's a small field. But I certainly give Pomodoro a big chance, and if all goes well with half the deficit, a place chance. If you look at Fort Bellini, obviously whatever bits of mucus and that were going around the yard, he may have had early, because he was coughing after the Guineas and he was blowing heavily after the Classic. Hopefully, he's clear, because he got beaten 4 lengths in the Classic, and if we've got him right, obviously he could get a lot closer. Having said that, he still has stamina doubts, but I think well-being, we've got him exactly where we want him. Mikado was very hard to read into his last run. He was wide, no cover, and you are leaving a lot of work for yourself when you wide up the hill in Turfentine. So he could have been maybe 3 or 4 lengths closer with a different ride. So also stamina doubts on pedigree, but we're taking our chances.
And then a horse like Super Tube, Glenn Hatt's not the unluckiest guy when he comes to the Highveld. It's hard to imagine him winning, but a few runs back at the Vaal on the 4th of February, he could not possibly have been more impressive. And his run to Louis the King in the Classic was not a bad run at all.
Yes, and the Brooks Club run, there were 2 or 3 winners from that form line. I think Joey Summers' horse went to win the Henneman from that form line. It's not the worst form line. Obviously he fluffed his lines last time, also respiratory noise, so there's a clear indication that there is a little bit of something going around the yard, but he is definitely will stay. He'll definitely stay, and you know, he's got a good draw, he's got hat, but you know, he's rated 82. He's taking on a 109.
Yeah.
Is he good enough? Well, I don't think so at this stage, but it certainly was worth a chance. Needless to say, may have just needed her last run.
Yeah.
And I think the conditions of the race favour her to be better off with most of the horses she ran against in the last race. Having said that, well, Witcher certainly looks like the filly to beat, and I mean, Kenamitic Countess and Tiger Quest have done nothing wrong and are rated quite highly. So I think a very competitive race. There are quite a few horses in this race with a chance, and Dolomite is not cut and dried to be the stable elect. I think she does get the nod, but it's close. There are a few of these fillies that are doing well with chances. Very hard race.
How would you structure a quartet over there in the last race? It looks like an absolute nightmare, other than perhaps roving Witcher with a few horses.
Yeah, I mean, well, if I was playing, obviously I'd favour my own horses, and I certainly would float Dolomite. But having said that, the other three are alive and well, and they certainly will give good accounts of themselves. Mary Stewart, I think, is the worst off at the weights, but she's a stunner's coming quite nicely weighted too.
On the subject of summaries, if you had to look at the whole card, what would you say is Sean Tarry's best of the afternoon?
I'm not confident at all. I think it's a tough meeting when you're at your best. I think there are a few one or two clouds over the yard at this stage of the day, and I'd like to think my best chance is maybe the nursery.